Okay. It is time for perhaps the KGW Vault segment to end all KGW Vault segments. And no, that does not mean we are destroying our archives. That would be insane. But tonight, this is a big one. Okay, tonight is the 50th anniversary of one of the most infamous and unsolved mysteries in the Pacific Northwest ever. The D.B. Cooper hijacking. I'm sure you're familiar with what happened, but if not, fear not. That is what the Vault is for. So we'll start with this one, a story dug up from 20 years ago, done by then KGW reporter Steph Strickland.
I think of him as a sleazy, rotten criminal.
Former FBI agent Ralph Himmelsbach doesn't mince words when it comes to this man, known only as D.B. Cooper. The police sketch put a face on the unknown criminal who kicked off his daring crime in Portland on a rainy fall evening, November 24th, 1971. That evening, Cooper told a stewardess he had a bomb. He hijacked a plane to Seattle and started making demands.
No accent of any kind. He used terribly vulgar, obscene language, the kind of language that in those days you would only hear in a penitentiary.
There's a huge manhunt on in the state of Washington for the middle-aged man who hijacked a jetliner and got $200,000 in ransom money, then escaped by parachuting into the night from the hijacked plane.
Cooper's escape and the massive manhunt that followed is what makes that night live on in our collective memories. After getting his $200,000, Cooper forced the plane to take off from Seattle, bound for Mexico. But somewhere over the thick woods in southwest Washington, Cooper packed into a parachute, strapped his money bag to his waist, and made a leap of faith into freezing, stormy clouds.
I think he gambled his life, and I think he probably lost.
But the problem is no one knows for sure because Cooper vanished. No one ever found him, his body, or his parachute.
My best guess is that he's still lying about where he fell. It's an extremely difficult area to search.
Ralph Himmelsbach, now a retired aviation buff, devoted years to tracking Cooper. The walls of his office lined with memorabilia, including a $20 bill found with a stack of others in the sands of the Columbia River almost 10 years after the crime. Police only recovered $6,000. Tens of thousands of dollars are still missing.
There was virtually no chance that the man could have landed uninjured.
At the time, Himmelsbach never imagined this case would remain so popular. Cooper's high-flying escape both fueled the imaginations of movie makers and the public's desire to root for the underdog. One business even celebrated his law-breaking feat with a T-shirt.
I have a far different opinion of him than that. He jeopardized the lives of over 40 people and his own for money.
And that was former KGW reporter Steph Strickland with that amazing story. Now, speaking of amazing, as we were digging through the vault, we found this tape that we showed you at the top. The label, "Save Till D.B. Cooper Caught." Our team loved this. We had to know what was on it, and we figured you do too. So without further ado, let's roll that tape. Yeah. For the record, we did not add that music, okay? That was already on the tape. And I hope this does not need to be said, but no, that was not D.B. Cooper jumping out of the plane. If we had that on tape and we saved it for a random 6 p.m. show 50 years later, I think that would be a crime. It was a reenactment made for a 1981 movie called The Pursuit of D.B. Cooper, and it had quite the soundtrack. It was also starring Treat Williams there as D.B. Cooper. Why we have to save that until he's caught, I couldn't tell you, but someone who worked at KGW at the time thought it would be a good idea. Well, today, for the 50th anniversary, someone decided to again reenact that jump. And our own KGW photojournalist Ken McCormick was there.
Dan Grider, Vancouver, Washington. It's the 50th anniversary.
So you put one foot through, you kind of throw it up on your shoulders.
So I've been following the D.B. Cooper mystery for 20 years. You know, this exciting historic day, everybody out here in the Pacific Northwest knows all about the D.B. Cooper thing. The guy jumps out of an airplane somewhere around here and he's got $200,000. I always wondered, what does $200,000 look like? So I built $200,000. This is not really $200,000, but it's the same size, weight, and bulk of what $200,000 would be. So my idea was to jump out of an airplane backwards, holding on to this with the camera guy, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen. We're trying to find out, is it possible to hold on to the money? There's no way to hold on to that money. That was awesome. Worked perfect. This whole experience just goes to show you that you can't hold on to that kind of money in free fall. D.B. Cooper never asked for a big enough, sturdy enough bag to hold the money. He could not hold the money. That's the whole problem. End of story.
This is a day. This is a day. And that was science, clearly. That was photojournalist Ken McCormick. Fascinating stuff. If you have anything that you want to see or you want us to talk about tied to that case or anything else, reach out. Use the story at kgw.com. When the show continues, you have a lot of questions. Speaking of